The uncomfortable truth nobody will tell you on TikTok is by 2030, most people won't be poor because they didn't work hard. They'll be poor because they picked the wrong game. And today, we're going to show you which games actually still pay. Fair use.
Top 10 easiest ways to get rich.
I'm going to say the number one is winning the lottery.
Winning the lottery is not the easiest. It's actually quite hard to do.
Easiest ways to get rich, investing in the stock market.
Investing is number 2, specifically the index funds.
That makes sense. I am in there. I need to put more money in there. Be a real estate agent.
Real estate investing is number 5. What do we do?
Be a podcaster.
Content creation is number 4.
People could sell stuff.
You could work in sales. Work in sales is number 3. There's no ceiling on how much you could make.
Winning in blackjack as a casino.
No, those aren't that easy to do.
Investing in a startup.
That's number 6, an own equity startup. What's this? The internet, right?
You can sell things.
What did DeGilio do?
He sold things on Amazon.
You could create an online business. That's number 8. What do technical developers do?
Websites.
They build websites or software and apps. That's number 9. What do you call it when you own something for a brand?
IP.
Intellectual property. That's number 7. Number 10's tough, so I'm going to give it to you. It's leverage other people's money. And then number 1 is the easiest of them all. I'm surprised you haven't said it yet. The easiest way for me to get rich is do what?
Marry rich.
Marry rich is the number 1 option.
Some of them will still apply by 2030, but let's talk about it. RJ.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm RJ here with KR, and this is where independent thinkers come to build financial durability for the decade ahead. And if you're serious about navigating the economics of 2030, hit subscribe, join the newsletter, because the next decade won't wait for anyone. KR.
Yes. So you saw that list. I mean, some of them will still be applicable in 2030. You can still marry rich by then.
Are you serious?
But let's talk about things you can work on and not fall into luck. By 2030, about 60% of today's jobs and tasks will be automated or AI assisted. But almost nobody will be getting rich working hard. The people who will get rich will be owning systems. So here's the headline, which is kind of relating to McKinsey and company. AI is now a general purpose productivity shock on the level of electricity and internet. Let's take a look. Fair use. This is the part people are missing. The key to productivity shocks is that they don't make workers rich. It makes owners of systems rich, which means that by 2030, the economy won't reward hustle. It will probably reward more the positioning. So whether you position yourself in the correct way, because capital will be cautious and regulations will be heavier due to the AI. And don't forget the AI, it will be everywhere. If you're just adding AI to your to-do list, you might be running late right now. If you're embedding AI into your workflows that already have budgets, that's maybe where the money is. And today we're gonna talk about it more deeply. Fair use.
What do you think kids should be studying these days?
Resilience, adaptability, a high rate of learning, creativity, certainly familiarity with the tools.
So should kids still be learning how to code? Because I've heard people say, don't need to learn how to code anymore, just math, just biology.
Well, I'm biased because I like coding, but I think you should learn to code. I don't write code very much anymore, although I randomly did yesterday. But learning to code was great as a way to learn how to think. And I think coding will still be important in the future. It's just going to change a little bit or a lot. We have a new tool.
So that was Sam Altman, one of the biggest, well, he's the biggest CEO right now of OpenAI, one of the biggest companies in the AI sector. And he's telling you that coding will be different. So you won't be making money as a coder, but coder is good to learn because, I mean, it helps you think, to understand complex things. RJ, what do you think about that? And then I have also another video.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting what he said. I mean, the most important thing that he said, KR, I don't think that's what a lot of people will take away. But the most important thing he said to me was that he's glad he learned how to code because coding taught him how to think. I think he meant to say think logically. You have to think in sequence. You need to think in an orderly way more than anything. And you are seeing as well, KR, that more and more platforms that are becoming available to the people, they require no coding or light coding, not heavy coding anymore. And we're also seeing coding, quote unquote, by prompts, which isn't coding, You can argue whether it's coding or not, but it is replacing coding because it's you're creating conditions simply with prompts. So it's pretty interesting.
If you learn prompt designing properly, you're also learning how to create constraints within sentences, so the outcome is at least what you want to. So that's also what it means, like that logical which you referred to. Fails.
Everybody who sits on a stage like this would tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program.
I have a controversial argument against what Jensen said. This one will probably piss some people off.
Nice.
My argument is that even if everything that Jensen predicts comes true, and in the future you will be able to build a great app just by writing English, you should still learn how to code, because learning how to code will literally make you smarter. We have an interesting piece of evidence for this, which is there's a lot of studies now that show that the way LLMs learn to think logically is by reading all the code in GitHub and basically learning how to code. And I think programmers have long suspected this, that learning how to code made them smarter, but it was kind of hard to prove with humans. And now we have some actual evidence that this is really true.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that this is the way it's going. And sometimes we think that we talked about an advice at the beginning of the show and say, hey, will it be applicable in 2030, for example? And I said, no, it's not. I mean, it might be. I don't think it's going to be totally irrelevant, but there's a chance that it might be like for 90% irrelevant, right? Or because things will change. But can you imagine, like a couple of years ago, I remember after my studies, I thought to myself, the people who are learning coding right now are going to be filthy rich. And then 5 years later, 10 years later, I'm like, no, actually, because the AI can do it for them. You know, it's going by so fast. It's pretty interesting to see these pioneers in the AI and technology development give their opinions. But hey, let's be honest, people want easy. People hear and think passive. But easy doesn't mean effortless. Easy in 2030 means repeatable, defensible, and aligned with macro forces. If your plan only works in a booming economy, it's not a plan. If your plan requires perfect timing, viral luck, or a bull market, it's not easy. It's fragile. The global economy is slowing, but not stopping. Trade is fragmenting. Regulation is thickening. Artificial intelligence is no longer optional. No, everything has to be built in the infrastructure of your firm. This is not an end of yourself, of course, not only your firm, but also of yourself. So this is not a boom economy. It's a positioning economy right now. You can compare it to a surfer, right? You need to prepare for the big wave.
That's a good analogy. It's a very good one.
You would think someone wrote it down, but no one can write this down, not even AI. And the people who win won't predict trends, KR. That's the most important thing. They'll align themselves with forces already locked in. So here's the real math businesses are dealing with right now. Labor is expensive. Mistakes are expensive. Compliance is unavoidable. Compliance fines are very high.
Yes.
And businesses are under margin pressure. That's where the opportunity or the opportunities live, actually. So they will pay aggressively for efficiency, automation, and risk reduction. If you show up and say, hey, I reduce administrative work by 30% in 14 days, you're not selling AI, you're selling margin protection. And margin protection is a top 3 priority in slower growth economies. Yeah. This is where things stack up. AI creates speed, regulation creates friction, and trade fragmentation creates uncertainty. AI and regulation and fragmented trade together with a slower growth means complexity. Let's not say problem, we'll just say complexity, challenges. And complexity is taxing. And uncertainty makes people pay for clarity. That's the opportunity most people are ignoring. Whoever helps others reduce it gets the money or the moolah.
That's true. That's true. And by 2030, I do think that the gap won't be anymore between rich versus poor, but it will be systems owners versus systems renters. If you look at that aspect, there'll be people who own systems and people who will rent them. and hope the price doesn't go up. Actually, you can already see that right now with OpenAI. You're renting their system. Of course, it's a major system, it's a bigger one, but of course, you can build your own systems and your own ways to work those systems. So it is already happening right now. Let's talk about the macro data behind this. So the IMF, they expect a slower global growth. It will be still persistent, but it will be slower. The OECD expects higher operational costs due to fragmentation. The WEF is expecting, of course, for those who don't know, World Economic Forum is expecting massive job and skill reconfiguration, of course, because AI will be supporting most people in what they do. So you have to learn how to do your job a bit different, a reconfiguration. This happens in all different institutions. They're saying the same thing, but we're also going the same direction of travel. So the direction is clear, even if the timeline is a bit foggy, let's be honest. We don't know exactly where everything is happening. It's happening as we are going. So you have to prepare for it. You have to know what you have to do. You have to align yourself, like RJ said, for the wave. Because what accelerates this and makes it more intense is the AI regulation, energy pricing, volatility, capital becoming selective, and of course, these AI tools becoming more commodities. And when tools are cheap, execution becomes the moat. That's the thing that keeps everyone at bay. For those who don't know, the moat was popularized by Warren Buffett, and in business terms, it's a sustainable competitive advantage that protects a company's long-term profits and makes market share from rivals much more hard to take from you. So overall, RJ, do you have something you can add on top of this that can get people ways, maybe not to get rich, but how to position themselves to, let's say, reap the benefits of what is happening?
Yeah, so let's stop dancing around it. Here are a couple of ways one can get rich or at least be financially comfortable, right? Become an AI native in a boring, expensive industry. And what this is that you don't need to invent new artificial intelligence per se. You apply it to workflows that already have budgets. So think of legal, accounting, logistics, healthcare administration, compliance, construction, and other similar projects, right? Or workflows. It will work in 2030 because Gen AI is a productivity shock that mostly reward the people who operationalize it inside real businesses. As they say, people say knowledge is power. No, applied knowledge is power. And similarly, you have the AI, but if you can apply, you need to be able to apply the tool in an effective way for it to be powerful, right? So start by picking one role within an organization and build an AI workflow that saves time, produces measurable output, such as reporting, bids, follow-ups, and invoices, for example. One-person automation agency would be number 2 on my list. And what this is that you sell automation outcomes. Think, for example, of lead capture, onboarding support, or reporting results. So you're not consulting. Enough people talk. I mean, you have consulting on YouTube. Hey, some people say we're consultants, but we don't ask for money. So why this works in 2030? Well, it will work according, again, to the reports and the predictions because capital is less patient and businesses want efficiency fast. Small teams that boost margin wins. Global growth is still positive, but not booming. So efficiency becomes permanent. Start by offering, for example, one packaged service. Your pitch can be, I reduce administrative time by 30% in 14 days through a CRM, plus an AI email handling and a FAQ robot, for example. At least a bot, not a robot. Well, FAQ robot would be dope, but a bot would be enough. And most importantly, for the companies that you're providing these services to offer the dashboards, because companies, especially because of what the economics will become, companies want to make data-driven decisions, and not only want to, they will have to make data-driven decisions to survive in the economy, the economy of 2030. A third point that I would say would be to own the distribution. Own it, rappers. Own the distribution. But you should own it as well as a business person. Build an audience or a niche community you can sell to, right? And you can do this through a newsletter, short form, where they would need to fill in their information. You can build a community, and your attention asset is what you're basically looking for. And it works because competition rises and differentiation collapses when tools get cheaper. Distribution becomes the moat, as KR said. You can launch products, services instantly once you have demand. So in other words, if you already have your community, you just need to listen to what they need, develop a product or system or service, and you wouldn't need to go look for the clients because they're already there. The word moat, KR explained what it is, but just ask yourself what that moat do. So when you start, choose one niche where money already moves. B2B real estate operators, fitness pros, local services, publish weekly. KR, we're serious here, man. What's changing? What to do next? The fourth one, which is the index fund discipline, the boring rich path. That's always that's like a traditional, right? But it works. It's traditional, but it works. What it is? Automated low-cost investing over time, especially when rates and volatility makes people emotional. Go look at the S&P 500, for example, and just see the stock grow throughout the years. And that's safe. We're not saying go throw your money or do weird things, but and we're not giving advice either. But hey, go learn how to do it and do it. It's easy and it's boring,
easy,
but it works.
Boring.
Some people will make you believe it's so easy. You'll put your whole
they'll do
savings
it for you.
Yeah. So
Give me your whole savings. I'll do it for you.
yeah.
Don't do it, guys.
Yeah, why it works is that even with messy decades, broad equities have historically compounded around 8 to 10% nominal over long periods. So it's a long game, not a short one. It's not day trading. Start by automating monthly contribution and avoid tinkering. The easy, quote unquote, easy part is the system, not the outcome. The fifth one would be buy or partner into small, boring businesses and modernize them. What it is that you acquire stable cash flow and add automation and better marketing. Here, it is important, however, that you do proper due diligence because you don't want to enter into a company where you don't know nothing. You don't want to enter into a company with someone who can hide information or not tell you everything. So there are risks involved. So it's not as easy as maybe, for example, investing. Maybe not even as boring because it can be very interesting. But the boring part here is the business. A lot of money with simple, boring businesses, not reinventing anything, but just boring businesses that work. And sometimes someone, especially of another generation, would need assistance, and maybe that's something to look at. You would need capital and knowledge of the business and or running businesses to at least make sure that you're not investing in your gurus. This is my last one, which is businesses pay you to cut energy costs. Remember this. It's not sexy, but budgets are real. So clean energy and infrastructure investment is massive and structurally supported. Start, for example, by offering a package. For example, energy waste scan, which also contributes to the benefit of the SME and or buildings and will provide you with a positive return on investment for you, but also for the people involved, the other stakeholders. And then you partner with installers. Can make an exception and go to a seventh one, which is to become the compliance layer for the AI economy. AI, sometimes people do weird things and they time it very weirdly as well. But that's why you need compliance, someone who can manage and supervise that compliance of the artificial intelligence for the AI economy. So AI risks, module documentation, vendor assessments, data governance, policy templates done for you, So start by specializing and maybe your pitch can be, I help SMEs deploy AI without getting wrecked by compliance. productize it as checklists and audits and training. So, KR, what's the real takeaway here?
Overall, I think you had a couple of great points. I mean, these are great ways you can make sure you prepare yourself as a solopreneur. Something that the WEF has been talking about a lot. People will become more solopreneurs, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't ask yourself what is hot, what is not. You gotta start asking yourself what will still be paid for when the economy is uncomfortable. That means that's where the wealth quietly compounds, because there will be parts that won't be paid, and you don't want to be stuck in those parts. That's all for me.
All right. Hey, thanks. If this episode hits home, that's where the change starts, guys. Remember to make sure you're subscribed and check out the next episode. See you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.